Welcome back to the Mental Health Chat. Firstly, I would like to say something about slightly different. Big up to Jake Daniels for his statement yesterday. Brilliant stuff. So happy for you. I'm hoping that's the domino effect now. For me personally, um, it's something that's been working on for so many years now. So yeah, I'm just so happy about that. But yeah, thank you for joining me. I know that a lot of people tend to watch this later, so that's great. I'm glad that this is helping. The link to come on is in there. I've got everything set up if I need to speak live. I am speaking live, but to talk to another person, you need headphones and microphone. I do have that, but for now, I'm just doing this. I think today is quite a good day to talk about, whilst no one is here right now, is talk about mental health and football. Mental health and football can be heavily linked. It is for me. I have a different perception to a lot of people, a lot of football fans around the world. Doesn't make me less of a fan because the way that I support Arsenal. It's not. It's just because I've been in different situations where I know what it is for me to be a fan of Arsenal Football Club. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just go back to like being 8 when I, as you guys will know that. Hello, Josh. How are you, mate? But when I was 8 and persuaded, I shall say, persuaded to support Arsenal. I was always a huge football fan. I love football, love playing it. I was a very good right back. Played it for school, played it for football teams. When I joined the army, I played it in the army. I played semi-professional. I did okay, until my job just became too much. Yeah, I'm great. Thanks, Josh. I'm glad you are. How's work? But how I look at football is very similar to how it is in the army. In the army, you have a regiment. Everyone has their own regiment. Everyone chooses to go in the army, and they particularly have a specific regiment that they want to be in. It's a choice, very much like a football team. It's your choice, unless you're persuaded to otherwise. But let's just focus in on you choose who you support. So when it comes to football, and when it comes to the army, you choose who you want to support. You choose who you want to be in the regiment with, as in the Remies, military police, tank corps, medical. Any regiment. And what you have in the army is you have very similar to how Arsenal fans look at Tottenham fans and Chelsea fans, and you have this gentle banter. I call it gentle banter. There are people that take it way too far and are very anti specific teams. I'm not like that. It's because at the end of the day, everyone supports a football team and it's for a reason and they love their football team. And you can't hate or despise someone for liking their own team when you like your team yourself, if that makes sense. Like you choose Arsenal, or I choose Arsenal. Like Josh, who's in the chat now, he supports Newcastle. I have no problem talking to Josh. There's a lot of people that I see through Discord servers that I'm on, or through stuff that I help towards football organisations. I see so much hatred for a football team. And I'm like, do you understand that that football team means exactly the same to them as your club means to you? So for you to have so much hatred towards that team doesn't make any sense. People don't like Arsenal, and that's fine. I have no issues with. Yeah, well done, Newcastle. You just outplayed us last night. Just way better team, and yeah, I will be talking about my theory on my club later. But yeah, I'm happy for you. You know, your team is looking pretty good, and with extra money in the summer, you're looking very, very. But then, like in the summer, you're gonna improve even more. So you know, big up to you guys and good luck. That's all I can say. You know, I love football clubs. I wear a lot of football shirts from all over the world because I have a love of football. I have a love of what football means to people, and that's important. And obviously, this is mental health, but how I'm linking it with mental health is with the army. Who's in your regiment are your brothers. They are who you trust. With your football club, they are the players, and you are meant to trust them. Same as the manager. Same as everybody to do with the football club. You have to trust them. Now, you're not always going to trust them. I certainly don't at the moment. I don't trust certain members at Arsenal Football Club. We have gone down a route that I don't agree with. I don't agree with buying all youngsters because currently that's what we've bought. We've bought all youngsters, and we're hoping to blend them all in with the experience that we've got, which is Laka and Xhaka. Jeez, here we go when he's left, so I don't have to say his name anymore. But look what Xhaka said come out last night and said, you know, he then has a go at the Arsenal players, and I'm like, I don't think you are the right person to be coming out with that. But do you know what I mean? You got to trust them, and it's a very family orientated sport, very much like what the army is. So you are going to have all Arsenal fans have their own opinion. Currently, I don't know what it's like at Newcastle, but definitely currently at Arsenal, it is very, very torn. There is that scale, and then there's that scale. That is a certain person that might live in Spain, and this is a person that is a certain person from AFTV. Okay, you've got two different scales. Now, I'm happily in the middle. I don't agree with one side or the other side. I think some take it too far with. So I just realised I'm on the volume. I just don't hear anything back. I am in the middle and happily in the middle. Because I'm not going to be like this fan where I'm going to go, oh, do you know what? I'm happy that we're losing, or oh, at least we put an effort in. Last night was no effort. There was nothing last night. Last night destroyed me. It was so lackluster, and even the manager comes out and says, "Oh, that's not what I expect." This is how I'm going to link it with the army. I was a captain. I was very well trusted by my privates, my sergeants, you know, everyone below me, my whole troop. At one point, a battalion, you know, I had a lot of trust because they knew what I was at least trying to do. And if there has been situations where I have a plan and that plan doesn't go according to plan, so you have to change it. That is football. If something is not going right, you have to change it. Now, last night, he tried to change everything. There's something not quite right. Now, personally, I think it's more of the experience around Mikel Arteta. And that's my view, and I'm entitled to my view, that I think it's more to do with Mikel Arteta, the inexperience around him. I do believe that our players are good enough, but they do currently need a lot of help and a lot of guidance, and that is where I struggle to see if that's going to happen. So when you have a love, a desire, so much passion for your football team, which is what you do, and when they put a performance like that last night, you are going to be destroyed, and that is not great for your mental health at all. But you have to have the belief that things can get better. It's football, the army, your family. As people have seen on my previous videos, family for me, non-existent. But my next thing that I can relate football to is the army. The army was a very family-orientated place. You trusted one another. You had to, because the person next to you could get you shot if you don't trust them. The next person can get you killed. You have to trust that person. And I know that's very deep and very wow like type thing, but that is what you do when we have a squad of players. We need to be able to trust them to entertain us, but also at least challenge. Last night was woeful. There was loads of loads of fans last night having absolute meltdown, having their face just drop with sadness, with disappointment. That is unacceptable. You just can't do that in this world. Not in football. Football, you need this ability to at least put a fight on. I've watched this since 1988. My dad always said, this is from my granddad, because my dad was the one that taught everyone how to support Arsenal, and it's definitely a certain way of supporting Arsenal, is don't leave. Do not leave until that final whistle. Now, unfortunately, that has led me to watch us lose against Norwich at home in the early 90s, lose to Leeds in the early 90s. I've seen us. I've seen some painful games, but then I've seen enjoyment. I've seen Andy Lineker's header. I've seen us at Wembley. I've seen us succeed. I've seen us score last minute equalisers. I've seen us score last minute winners. You have to keep the faith. If your team right now are making you feel that down and that disappointed, then you need to take a break. You need to take a break from your team. Whatever team it is, doesn't matter who it is, you just need to take a break. It's not great to let your team destroy you, and your team will destroy you. I know that. My team's definitely done that to me over the years. But I've now got to a point where I'm like, okay, is my team ever going to come back? Possibly. It might come back. I demand better from Arsenal. I've always known us to be challenging. And we have. We've always been challenging. I know we've had 10ths and 12ths and stuff over the years, which I've definitely seen myself. But if you know that those players go on that pitch and perform to the best of their ability and still lose 2-0, your mental health, your happiness, your satisfaction should be there. Rewind to when we lost to Man City. We lost 2-1. We were furious with the result, but were we happy with the actual performance? Yes. Now, for me, that Arsenal Football Club is like my family. It means everything to me. You know, I'm wearing my Arsenal shirt now. I've happily worn it. Got absolutely battered off the field last night against Newcastle in a game that we should have won, as in the game wasn't not saying that we should have won last night, but it's a game that we should have expected to win. It's a game that we needed to win, and that performance last night was absolutely awful, shocking, pathetic. When you're saying those types of words about something you love, then that is depressing, isn't it? That is disappointing, upsetting. It's just not fair. We pay good money, our own money, to support our club in wearing kits, wearing memorabilia, all sorts of different ways, going there, paying for Sky Sports, if you think about it, because if you didn't have Sky Sports, you'd never watch football, would you? And it's just really, really annoying. And honestly, if this is affecting your mental health, you need to take a break from it. Because it doesn't matter if it's Arsenal, it could be any club in the world, any league, any part of the pyramid. Take a break. It's not worth it. It's just like in the army, you don't really get a break. If your regiment is letting you down, which is not very likely, to be fair, in the army, there's always something to find a good reason to smile there. But I would suggest that you need to take a break. You need to just take yourself away from the situation. Thankfully, for some people, it's the end of the season coming up. Last game this weekend for Premier League fans. I'm still covering some games because I love the playoffs. So, but that's a possible way that you could possibly handle it. To be fair, is have a second love, have a backup, or find a backup. I love football no matter what league it is. I go down as far as National League for enjoying games, because you'll find it's a bit like a generational thing. The further you go down the pyramid, the further back in time you seem to go. If that makes sense, does it? Because the Premier League is in its own little weird bubble now, this certain way of playing football. You go down to the Championship, you've got a little bit of old school style football. And you're further down, you get National League. Now, I watched a game a few months ago on National League, Wrexham against Halifax, I think. Oh, did I enjoy that? It made me smile. Football can make you smile, and you need to find a way that you can find a smile again, especially with football. Doesn't matter who you support. For me, as long as you love football, it's the bit that worries me is the people that are just so 100% one team, because you're then in that bubble, and that bubble will pop because you're never going to win everything. No matter if you're City or Liverpool, you're never going to win everything. So you do need to find an alternative. Enjoy another sport. Moss, big up Moss on Moss Sports Talks. He's got me into basketball. I actually love that. And you know why I love it? Because it's non-stop action. It's just chum, chum, chum. There's probably a technical term for it, chum, chum, chum. But that's mine. That sounds more like Formula One, which is, again, something else I like. But watching NBA has been entertaining. I've enjoyed it. It's put a smile on my face. And this is the thing: sport is actually quite a good, very good legal drug that just generally puts a smile on your face. Even when I'm not, I don't even like to look at myself, but I can see a smile on my face now because sport is my thing. It's something that I enjoy. Like I said, I've loved sport since I can even remember. I always refer to 8 just because that was a pinnacle point with me with Arsenal, but I know I liked it before. But yeah, it's an interesting one. But if we go into the army, as I was saying earlier, like, regiments, you have, like, I actually have stuff that is from my regiment in my house because it's how important my regiment is to me. It's what I wear on my sleeve, my army numbers on my arm. I have very fond memories of the army, and I always will. But it means everything to you. You live and breathe everything regiment, which is very similar to how you support your own club. You live and breathe it. You just, back in the day, you only used to get newspapers, and that's all you could ever read. But now it's everywhere. You've got podcasters all over the place talking Arsenal, or talking your club, or wherever certain silver tunnel dude. I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to give him credit, but there's so much now that you just it soaks you in. It just, and that's why it's right now. It's so more dangerous than it was back in the day, because back in the day you used to go to the football game. You spent probably 10 minutes reading newspaper a day about it, and that was it. There was nothing else. But now I guarantee you could watch a podcast about your football team all day. You could watch highlights of games all day. It soaks you in now. So the drop off that you're going to get from feeling all confident about your team, for it then to drop because something happened that is bad for your team, it's a dangerous drop now. It's not like it's a gentle drop. It's a dangerous drop. It's a drop that can actually affect your mental health. Like, bless Tariq last night, it was a weird feeling for me because all I wanted to do was actually give him a hug because I could see how much it was affecting him. But I don't like seeing that because people have a pop at me because of the way that I am, and my prediction in January was we would finish 5th. I wasn't that confident. I'm not a great fan of Mikel Arteta, but that is my stance. I'm not going to be told by anybody, no matter who you are or how much you think you know football more than me, that I should be supporting Mikel Arteta. I don't need to support Mikel Arteta. I need to support my football club. That is who I support. That is the one thing that is important to me, is my football club. Without my football club, I have nothing to enjoy. Wenger was there for 20 years. He left. I was a George Graham fan. I was not a Bruce Rioch fan. Didn't like him. Couldn't actually stand the bloke, to be fair. I don't know why we ever went through him. But he signed my favourite Arsenal player at the time, Dennis Bergkamp. So he brought me joy. Wenger, he showed us a new way of playing football, because Arsenal were well known for being boring Arsenal. It showed Arsenal fans that you can play a different style of football and win things. That brought me joy. Still didn't like the actual guy himself. As in, he was quite clever, very clever man, but as in my love for him, I was like, yeah, but you're going to leave at some point because all managers are going to leave. We are going to live, let's hopefully, till we're 80, right? That's my goal, 80. No matter what, we are going to have over, let's say conservatively, we're going to have over 10 managers in our lifetime. We are going to have over 200 players playing for the club in that lifetime. What's not changing? The football club. The football club is not going to change. Players are going to change. Managers are going to change. The owners might change. But your love for your club, your theory on your club, your acknowledgement of your club will not change. And no one is ever going to tell me that I am wrong for not supporting Mikel Arteta or wanting Mikel Arteta to leave. I don't want managers to lose their jobs. People that know me personally know that I do not. I am pro managers. There's something that I work on, which I want managers to stay in their jobs for as long as I can within the right remit, as in, like, if Liverpool were 20th after 10 games next season, yes, sack Klopp because he's not doing a good job. But, you know, I don't expect a manager to be sacked that's meant to be pushing for the playoffs. I'm going for playoffs here because playoffs tonight. I'm doing the game. Pushing for playoffs, and they get sacked when they're in 8th with like 2 points behind 6th with like 6 games to go. I don't want a manager being sacked for that because that is not sensible. That is unfair because it's, yeah. So that's my theory on managers is, you know, I am pro managers, but when there's a point for me is if I don't see enough, then that guy has to go. I recently did a video on what I think might help Mikel Arteta. So it's not like some of it's him, some of it's the owner trusting a rookie to do this job. And he's learning on the job right now. But this is Arsenal Football Club. For me, I've never been at a point, and I don't want to be disrespectful to a football club here. Okay, before I say this, I've not felt like a Norwich City. I'm not a Norwich City fan, if that makes sense, because Norwich City fans are going to have a slightly different mentality for what you expect. Like, you get promoted to the Premier League, you'd like to fight for survival and then push up. For me, Arsenal fan, I've always wanted to succeed. I've always wanted to challenge for stuff. When I say challenge, I mean challenge, not win it. I'd like to win it, but at least put a fight up and at least try and win something. That would be nice. But yeah, it's a case of, for me, it's just important that when your team has such a big drop, and we from where we were as an Arsenal fans, we were getting qualifications for Europe, Champions League. Then we had 2 eighths. Well, no, we had 5th, then 2 eighths, and we're going to get a 5th this year by the looks of it. That is still not acceptable, even for me. And I know that's quite harsh, but that's not acceptable for me. I don't expect to be 25 points off the champions. If we were 10, I'd be happy because, you know, we lost twice to the top 2 or whatever. You know, that's, what's that, 12 points. That's fine. we at least made an attempt. The performance against Man City was actually an attempt to win the game against a team that was better than us. I know we're not the best right now. And there has been many points in my Arsenal life that we've never been the best team, but we've at least fought. We've at least bothered. But last night, as I was saying, and I've said probably loads of times now, when you see your team perform like that last night, and the manager has to come into this as well. He's not blameless in this because he's the guy that trains them. He's the one that coaches them. And this is my point about Mikel Arteta, is people can easily blame the players, but who is the guy that is being trained? Who are the players being trained by? The manager and the coaching staff. Right? I've played football, semi-pro. Now, if my manager did training session and just said, you know what, just go and do what you want. So they did. Just go and do what they want. And we performed absolutely awfully. Whose fault's that? It's both of ours. Okay? Right. So, for me, if Mikel Arteta is training them and the players are listening to the training and taking part of the training, then last night is both of their faults. You can't, because if it wasn't, half time would have happened and there would have been a heck of a difference in the second half. You've seen that in the past. You've seen that in past games, that you go in at half time, the manager goes rah 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 right, yeah, and out you come for the second half, and you're just so much better. So yeah. So for everybody today that have tuned in and will watch this back, just be careful. I've always said all my stuff is there. If you want to contact me, I'll take those numbers off as well. They've been, so you can find my Instagram if you want to find me on Instagram and Twitter. If you ever need to talk, I am always here. No matter what, I'll talk about anything. Today's been a weird one because I thought actually last night football and depression, kind of unfortunately, well, I won't even say depression, just mental health, can just give you a bit of a wobble. And doesn't necessarily mean depression. It can just be having a bit of a funky day, and that can affect your mental health in long term, really. But yeah, anyone that needs to message me can message me. I have had messages over the past week, and I appreciate that. Big up to everyone that watches the video later. But yeah, for now, I shall see you next time.